All right, for everyone who's on with us, I'm just adding in the fact that you're allowed to talk. So if you would like to speak during this event to share your thoughts or ask questions, you're now allowed to unmute to ask us. And then in the meantime, we're going to introduce the next project and how to make sure you're all set up. So Grace, I'm so happy for you to be here. Also, nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Awesome. And I'll go ahead and I think I'm not sharing screen anymore. Yeah, let's share screen for a moment. And I'll let you do a better introduction for yourself in a moment here, but just to set everyone up to be in the right spot. We're from 4 to 5 right now, Eastern time anyway. We're doing Offal. Is it Offal or Offal?
I say awful. I've heard both ways. So
Okay. Offal Wildlife Watch, which I'm really curious about and kind of scared of. As a resident veterinarian, I'm a little scared of what I might find. So we'll see how I feel. Because a lot of this project is all about looking at like gut remains, right, of these animals in nature. So I'm excited to see what's visible for us. So in order for us to get all set up, though, I'm going to go ahead and find it on SciStarter so you all understand how to get to the right spot. So this is the project. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. Oops. Sorry. If I can actually successfully do that. Yes. There we go. Okay, so in the chat, there is a link to the project on SciStarter. However, we're going to take it from SciStarter and actually go to Zooniverse. So if you're just now joining us for the first time for this hour, or you don't need a reminder, if you have a Zooniverse login, which you totally should, make sure that you log into both SciStarter and Zooniverse. That Zooniverse login, that username will actually allow you to add it to your SciStarter account. So if I visit my dashboard and Offal Wildlife, gosh, what was the name of it? Wildlife Watching, excuse me, will be on there. But on my info and settings, if I scroll down to the bottom, I have this thing called affiliation integration, which is super important. So by saying your username here for Zooniverse and saving it, so it's currently loading projects, it's all field saved. By adding my username there, I'm now able to track my contributions to this project across to SciStarter. So they get counted on our 1 million acts, which is exactly what our goal is right now during this month. We're trying to get 1 million acts of science. And right now we are at ... ready for it. 532,029. So we'll count out how many we have after this event too. We'll see how many of us joined for this one, and then I will count them all up, and we'll make sure that we count as an event, which events count. So events, participation, etc. So now that I'm signed in, I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share and turn it over to you, Grace. So do you want to explain who you are, where you come from, why you're here to tell us about this thing, why it's important, and
sure, yeah. So I'm with the Offal Wildlife Watching Project. This is a research and participatory science project that is affiliated with the University of Minnesota Extension. And we are studying, in case offal is an unfamiliar word to folks, I mean, it commonly is, it refers to the internal organs of a butchered animal. So these are the things that hunters leave behind after they field dress their deer, and what most Americans don't typically eat. So oftentimes they leave behind like the stomach, the intestines, the lungs, depending on the person, sometimes they take the liver or the heart and eat that. But it's obviously a really nutritious food source for a lot of wildlife. And we ask volunteer deer hunters to set up trail cameras on the offal that they leave behind immediately after they field dress the deer. Leave the cameras out for at least a month, and then go back and retrieve them and send us the photos. So we are just basically trying to understand how this food source is affecting wild food webs, and trying to fill in the knowledge gap of like what are the risks and benefits to wildlife to this great big amount of food that's on the landscape in a relatively short amount of time.
That's so interesting. I didn't realize that it was hunters, like human hunters. When you said hunters at first, I was like, oh yeah, it's just the predatory animals who are going in and seeing what happens after predatory animals are done with their meal. But that's not it. Wow.
No, yeah, this is definitely a human-derived food source. Like if you think about it, at this point of the year, like hunting happens in Minnesota in early fall. So deer are typically in good shape. Like it's hard for other animals to hunt a deer at that part of the year. So if we humans weren't hunting them, you know, typically their guts wouldn't be on the landscape a lot. Um, and somebody has done the math that there's about 200,000 deer killed in Minnesota alone every hunting season, and that equates to about 4 million pounds of offal that's out on the landscape being eaten. Um, we are obviously studying, you know, a very small subsection of that, but gives us a good idea of what is happening with it at least.
Yeah. How did you get involved in this? This is kind of an interesting project to
Yeah,
be.
definitely. I don't know, being a weirdo who likes to study what's happening with dead stuff. I have an environmental science degree and really like doing wildlife research. And the fact that it's a cool combination of utilizing volunteers and research and looking at wildlife is it was a good combination for all of my experience working with nonprofits and volunteers and wildlife research. But this whole idea came out of my colleague's dissertation project. My colleague is Dr. Ellen Candler, and it was kind of it's her project. So we are in year 6 of data collection, and she's been with it since the beginning.
Wow,
But
awesome.
my position is kind of new and it's recently affiliated with Extension. Um, but it's really allowed us to kind of grow the project a lot, which is really exciting and cool.
Yeah. Has there been any results so far since it's been 6 years, or are we still looking to figure out what's happening?
We're just kind of figuring out results as we go. It is really interesting that like every sort of hunter orientation I go to, or like every outreach event, somebody comes up with a new interesting question that we should study. And that's really cool too, is that we have this great big data set and there are so many things that we could determine from it. Um, but yeah, some examples of things that have come up is that we had one participant who observed a barred owl at his gut pile footage, um, and figured out that this owl was hunting at the gut piles. And so that was an unobserved behavior, and we published a paper about it. So it's a little unclear if so this was behavior that was happening with owls and bobcats on our cameras. And it's a little unclear if owls and bobcats are attracted to the guts for a meal that they can scavenge, and then they find out that there are rodents there too, and they can get a fresh meal, or if they are smart enough to know that rodents are definitely attracted to guts, and this is a good way to you know find some hunting grounds. So
Wow, that is interesting. Yeah, you wonder if they just kind of find those indicators of like, oh, I know my food will be there. My next
right.
meal will be around their next meal.
Either way, they're getting a meal. So yeah. And then we've also been looking at what are the dominant wildlife types as it relates to different biomes or habitats. So Minnesota offers a unique opportunity that we can study this question as it relates to basically 5 different habitats. And we found that in most of them birds are the predominant gut eaters, except in a prairie habitat where it was carnivores that are showing up more often. And that was kind of surprising. So,
Huh.
mhm.
Prairie, did you say prairie dogs? Hold on, what did you say? What animal did
In the prairie habitat, the
you?
carnivores are showing up more often than any other type of wildlife
Huh.
family. And we were surprised because we thought like a prairie is a big open space.
Mhm.
Maybe birds can see the offal and they can, you know, they can easily find it by sight. But it turns out carnivores are finding it more often than them. And definitely birds, and it's mostly crows and ravens and other corvids are
Mhm.
um, the most frequent visitors.
Yeah, you gotta
So
wonder if the veggie eaters are like avoiding the area, or if they like is that one of the considerations or one of the questions is if we see more of the carnivores, is it just because once the smell is out there that there is offal out there, then they kind of avoid the space? Is that a thought?
that's a good theory. I don't know if we could prove that, but yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know.
Hypothesis. If it's proven later, make sure to add me
We'll
in
give you
as
credit. Yeah.
well. Well, while we're talking about it, then let's go ahead and actually try it out. So, what we are doing with this marathon or this Palooza, excuse me, is treating it like a marathon of project running. And so, whoever's online with us, either through the Zoom or also on Facebook watching, you are more than welcome to do it with us. And we're just going to go through and see how to participate, and then just go through a bunch of the images and see if how many we can classify during this time. And I think this is the only option for now. Are there usually more options up here?
Not usually. We've just been putting up batches at a time. So, yep, that's the current batch that we're working on.
All right, I see the batch. Should I go through the tutorial first? I think. Oh, wait.
Um, yeah, sure. Well, it's basically just shows you like what you might see, but
Bald eagles, ravens, crows, raccoons. Do you have a key? I know the size is very different, but crows versus ravens, do you have a key way to determine which one is which for people?
so crows and okay, well,
Oh, they're all.
recently we lumped them together. So that makes it makes it way easier. If you just want to know for like your own personal knowledge, I usually look at the beak size because trail cameras um are tricky. Like there's not often a good scale in these images, or like the scale could be skewed depending on how close to the camera or further away from the camera they are. So I usually look at the beak size, and then ravens also they have like that kind of like a feathery throat. And if you see that, that's a good indicator. Um, but now that we lumped them together, you could just say it's a crow or a raven, and that
That's good.
saves a lot of time.
That is helpful. I'm glad that it's a question it doesn't require you to know. Oh,
Yeah.
and nice bright eyes in that camera trap. Nice. Awesome. Okay, so we know what we're looking for a little bit. There were other options in the field guide. Let's see, lookalikes. Okay, yeah, crow versus raven. I spoke too soon. American martin versus weasel. Do we know the difference between those?
Um, well, there are very few martins on camera, so there's that. Martins will be really rare. Usually the weasels will be white because these are fall and winter images.
Oh, sure, yeah. So
Yeah.
they have white hair.
Martins have a little bit different ear shapes.
They
Yeah.
are adorable, is what they are. And then these guys. Fisher is on the left in American Martin. So
Oh
I had to
yeah,
look.
okay. Yeah. Martin and Fisher are a little bit more complicated. That one I would look more at the ear shape. Um, and again, Martins are unusual on our cameras, but Fishers are not quite unusual. So they've been
Likely.
showing up a lot.
Sure, yeah. I think, do they generally look like size difference? This one looks like it's got a less of a neck and more of like a roundish face with the ears pretty small. This one looks
Yeah.
like
Yeah, the round face is a good indicator.
I'm
And
learning.
also
Gonna be
the
an expert.
tail. Yeah.
And the tail? Where's the
I think
tail?
the tails are a little bit different. I believe the Fisher has like a bushier tail.
Okay, gotcha. Bald eagle versus golden eagle. Oh, I should know the difference between that, but I
Well,
still
that
don't.
one's really tricky when you're looking at juvenile bald eagles versus a golden eagle.
Okay,
Um,
you know.
but I posted on our forums, on our discussion boards, I found a really good website that went through all the different field marks.
Neat.
So
Okay.
that's a good reference, at least.
And that'll be on our talk site here.
Right. Yep.
I'll open that in the side so that we can look at if we need to. Animal behaviors, help. Doo -doo -doo.
I
Was
can't
there a,
remember where I put it. Maybe in the help.
let's try that. Oh, did you tag it? We could try a tag actually. Oh, oh, these are great pictures. Wow.
Mhm.
The benefits of having the like the hunt already done and then you take the picture or like
Yeah.
you keep the camera right there. That's like the most genius. I don't think those will help us though. Let's see.
Right. I think tagging just tags photos, but
Yeah.
there it is up there,
This one?
a little bit further up.
Oh,
Bald versus golden eagle.
and then, oh, immature bald eagle versus golden eagle. Nice. Golden eagle, cool. Bald eagle. So if it's a juvenile, Plumage, eagles leave them in the blah, blah, blah. The juvenile plumage is worn for less than a year, and then it's replaced with the.
Right. So the bald heads don't show up until like year 3 or 5.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
gotcha.
So when they're immatures, right, they have those sort of varying degrees of brown
Mhm.
heads, which look a lot like golden eagles. But so the beak is a good thing to look carefully at. If you can get a good view of the beak, you can see that the coloring can be different.
Mm-hmm.
We did have some really great images of a golden eagle where the golden nape of the neck was really obvious.
Oh,
Um, and then also the legs and feet are different. So if you can get a good look at the legs and feet, golden eagles have the feathers all the way down to the toes, and bald eagles have bare legs.
gotcha. That is super helpful. I'm gonna keep this open while we go through.
Yeah,
Uh,
so that's the great thing about trail cams is that you get these views that are really hard to see. Like if the bird is flying, you're not going to see feathers on the legs. But
right.
if it's sitting right in front of you, right in front of the camera, it's oftentimes a really cool view of things that you don't usually get to see.
Yeah, who gets to just randomly see a bunch of pictures of a, I mean, unless you Google, but that's not helpful. These
Yeah,
are pictures not very many people see. Snowshoe hare, oh, cottontail rabbit. Okay. All right, I might have to open this back up since there are so many that have
yeah,
similarities. Sure, mink, flying squirrel. Flying squirrel. Cute.
yeah.
Uh, all right, well, let's get started and see what we see. So I assume this is snow that I'm looking at a little bit.
Correct. Yes.
We're good there. What is in this image? Okay, so I see the offal. That looks like it might be a bird. Is that just my eyesight being bad?
That does look like a bird to me.
Oh yeah, I'm counting that as a bird. So I see a bird. We see anything else? So are we looking for any other animals like in the backgrounds or just around the offal
Yeah, anything that's in the image.
in the image fully? I'm gonna zoom in, do my zigzag effort, and see if there's anything hiding in a corner. I don't think so. That looks like a rock, I think. And that looks kind of like a bird. That's definitely a bird. I don't see anything else on the offal. But
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a smaller version, of course, but I think you're one bird,
oops,
probably right.
probably right. Okay, hold on, let me. I'm gonna undo that, and then I'll also. There we go. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. So it makes. Oh, not what I meant.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, that didn't make it easier, but oh well. Okay, so bird, and then next. Okay, cool. So it like goes through the filters for you, which is nice.
Yep.
And for this one, it looks like not even a corvid. It kind of just looks like a regular. Yeah, it could be like one of these
Right.
smaller.
If you can you zoom in on it quite a lot? Because
Okay.
I have an idea of what it is, but it's not a great image. I know that.
It looks kind of like its face is a little bit lighter than the
Yeah,
rest.
my first inclination is a blue jay.
Okay. And then we see examples. Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, that does look like a blue jay.
You could kind of see the tuft on the head, and then it has a line on its neck. Yeah.
The white or gray underbelly does look lighter underneath. Blue crested head feathers. Yeah, pretty little guys.
So blue jays are in the corvid family too. They are very frequent visitors.
Uh, I didn't realize they were also corvids. I
Hmm.
they were in their own mix. I honestly thought the only corvids were ravens and crows.
Yep. Blue jays, gray jays, black-billed magpies.
Oh well, yeah,
Mm, those are the ones that we have on our project. Yeah.
sweet. That's good to know. I mean, does this qualify as eating if it's kind of sitting up?
I think it looks like it's eating. I would probably say standing and perched as well. Um, oh, and then also you can hit the play button over there on the left, bottom left of the image. And then, obviously it's there one moment and gone the next. So I would say it's moving too.
Wow, that's fine. Or it's funny to see them uh,
So
running
we
away.
have our cameras set up to take a series of 3 photos every 5 minutes because
Oh,
usually an animal is, visiting for at least a few minutes at a time, and we don't need to see like, you know, an hour of a raccoon eating the gut pile. So it takes a picture every 5 minutes, and then we can just see who's visiting.
huh, cool. Makes sense. All right, so then I'm gonna, so just one standing and perched, possibly eating, moving. Are there any young? I don't see any littler birds
Nope.
like that. Identify. Cool.
And then, yeah, so at this point, if you had something else in the photo, that's where you could go in and add another thing. But this photo just has one bird, so you can hit done.
Oh, okay, and then new environment. Let's see.
Yeah, so
Um,
for this one, I think you'd want to hit the play button first because I don't see anything right away, but maybe something moves into the,
that
oh yeah, there you go.
is that a bird?
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun looking bird. Okay. So if I zoom in, that's a very exciting looking feather coat. Aw. Okay. That is really fun. What on earth is that? We have all the examples in a minute. I don't know if that's snow. With it being dark, do you have a solution for that? Is this snow like what I can't tell
It
the difference.
looks just like leaves to me.
Okay.
I would
All right.
say no.
Say no.
Another thing that I can tell you about this project is we have 10 viewers look at every image. So if you are uncertain about what you're seeing or your confidence in your ID, that can be a little encouraging that there's at least 9 other people who are looking at it. And so then we go with a consensus. So,
That's good. Yeah, we've been repeating those types of conversations a lot today because that's everyone's always worried about just having the wrong answer. I'm like, don't worry, it's okay.
right.
That's why that's on here. That's why they use the power of the crowd is we're not experts. They train us a little bit, but it's not exact, and it's
Yeah.
because there's so many of us able to look at it that we make the average, we make the consensus happen.
Mhm.
Definitely. For this one, I mean, my knowledge of birds is pretty sad.
Okay.
So
I can help.
yeah,
So
what
this
do you
one is a little woodpecker.
Ooh,
Um, it's a downy or hairy woodpecker. And
ooh.
those ones are also very hard to tell apart, so we lumped those together. Um, just for your own knowledge, the go-to field mark that I use is the proportional size of the beak. So that can be tricky to see a lot of times, but the downy has a beak that is smaller in proportion to its head, and the hairy's is bigger in proportion to its head.
Do you think this one might be a hairy then? Because I think the beak looks bigger than the one in this picture anyway.
I can't really see a beak at all in that.
Oh, I might be pretending to see a beak. Yeah, it is kind of
And
hard. I
it
don't.
is, it's the length of the beak, not like the
Oh,
width.
okay. Yeah, then
Yeah.
I have.
Looks
No.
like it's like pointed backwards or yeah.
That movement is so funny. It looked like, yeah, look at that. That's just really funny to watch.
Mhm.
Okay, so we see one of those guys. I'm gonna say one. I didn't see anything else in the photos, but let me double check.
Right. And it is kind of funny to see a woodpecker caught like at night mode, but it
Yeah,
does say 8 in the morning in November. So that would be morning, but still dark out.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I would guess these guys are active then.
At dawn.
Mhm.
Um, and now this one just looks like it's standing and perched. I can't tell where the offal is. Is it over here or is it also this
I can't
section?
tell either. And that could be, this could be like many days in and most of the guts are gone.
Yeah.
But there's still critters that come and check out the site. So yeah, I wouldn't say that this one is eating. I'm not confident that it's doing that in this series of photos.
Okay.
Um,
Moving
but
wise,
yeah,
is that moving?
it's moving.
So moving could be going away or it could literally just be slight movement from where they are.
Right, yeah.
We don't think it's a baby.
No.
Cool. All right. And then since that's the only one I saw, I'll just hit done.
Yep.
Okay. So then we're on the next one. Let's see.
That looks
Oh,
like the same site, but
yeah, but nothing exactly here. Oh, there he is.
oh
A little
yeah,
man. Oh my gosh, look at that thing.
Usually
I
with the rodents, all that is detectable is like their bright eyeball. But I'm impressed you spotted that one.
I've gotten I feel like I've done I mean because we're doing Zooniverse all day, I feel like my brain is like turned on to
Yeah.
Zooniverse related skills. And so I'm pretty earlier today I was pretty good at the whole picking out specific animals
Yeah.
in a project. So I'm proud of myself. I think I'm getting better at this every day. I don't see snow, but I do see a mammal. And that looks like a oh, there's so many of them. Okay, let's see. Mice slash voles
This is
or
another one that, yep, we've lumped all the small rodents together because you like this is a really great image of a mouse. But usually the rodents are not as like, that's
oh,
what we usually get.
oh my gosh. Okay, good to know for the future ones. Yeah. Often confused. It's definitely not a flying squirrel. That tail is nothing.
Right. And it's just like the limitations of camera traps is that they're good at picking up movement. When it's something that's moving that's really small, it's a lot harder. So we don't have a lot of good images of the rodents, but that's a good one.
Yeah, we found the good one. Now it doesn't look like it's doing much to me or like for me, but do you think standing is enough, or would you say that there's something else implied?
Um, I would assume it was wasn't it moving a little? Usually, like, yeah, you could say moving. It will be moving.
And then I don't see unless that is a baby, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think baby.
Um, for that question about the young present, the
Mhm.
most I've ever used it is for immature bald eagles. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
sometimes there are bobcats hanging out with their kittens, and then it's relevant too, but we don't see a lot of baby animals at this time of the year because again, it's fall and winter. Not a lot is reproducing then. So.
Mm, there, that makes sense. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, well, okay. There might be three. I
Mm.
can't tell. Okay, so we got one, two.
It
There's the
looks
one.
like I think that that slider next to the play button is the speed, and you can slow it down to see.
Oh,
Yeah, then it goes through the photos a lot slower.
good. Okay, yeah. I only see the two then. Do you see any more than the or yeah, I only see
I
two.
think, yep, I think you're right too. And then they just move spots, right?
Yeah. Like one hangs out here for a little while. That one goes in the tree. Okay, so oh no. Oh, yes, there is snow. Just kidding. Snow, I see birds. Let's see here. Okay, again, with my knowledge of birds, it's quite bad. But these are very obvious if they are any like particular thing. So white belly with the little blue cappy type thing. It might be blue, I can't actually tell. But any immediate thoughts on type of bird?
Yeah, I think they're two different birds.
Oh, you do? Okay, just kidding.
Hmm.
Uh, Um,
Um, that one in like its beautiful flight form, that's a cool capture. That one looks like a chickadee to me.
chickadee. I never knew what a chickadee was.
It's got the black cap. They're called black cap chickadees. So
They're golf size, a golf ball size.
yeah, they're
There's
pretty small. Yeah.
wow. And there's only one of those. That one's flying. Um, standing perched. That one does go to the tree though, I think. Let's
Right. I thought so too.
yeah,
Yep.
hangs on the tree. So we'll call it standing perched, but also moving. Any should this be referred to as interacting since there's two different types of birds in the scene?
Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't say so. I don't think they're really interacting with each other.
Not having a chat. Oh, you're taking the food I wanted. Um, okay, and then the other one, okay, so no identify. And then the other one, that is where'd it go?
Yeah, I think the first image is probably the best look at it.
And that one also has a blue cap of some sort.
Right. That one to me looks like a nuthatch. And we have lumped those together. So in Minnesota we have white-breasted nuthatches and red-breasted Our tutorial needs a little updating because that is a red-breasted that you're looking at in the example, but in the image, it's a white-breasted. Um, so
Okay.
we need to add in the other one, but
No, that's
white-breasted nuthatches are much more common.
interesting. And then it does look like it's eating potentially.
Yeah, it goes on the ground, right? Yeah, sure. So that's eating.
So one of them I see standing perched. I also see moving. I also see eating. No young. And then I'm gonna run it one more time just in case we missed anything. Yeah, I don't see anything else.
Yeah.
Neat. Although I did favorite it because that first picture is really great of those two birds.
Mhm.
Later. Cool. All right. And then let me check the time to see where we're at. Sweet. This is like one of those practice or one of those projects that it's really helpful to have guided instruction. I wonder how people do like with birds especially. Now that I know a couple types, I can make guesses. Like this one, you did this one last time. What was it? Ah, if I had it in front of me, I might know. Let's see if I remember. Bird next. Okay, let's see if I remember. It was a, don't tell me, uh magpie?
No,
No. Shoot. It's the really cool. Oh, this one, woodpecker.
yep. A
The really cool
woodpecker. Yep.
sounds. We didn't do a magpie yet. We just talked about magpies being corvids. My bad.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so I know it's a magpie. I will now, or not magpie. Oh my gosh, woodpecker.
Yep.
I'll never
That one definitely looks like a downy to me if you wanted to
be more
know
specific.
downy or hairy. Yeah.
Oh, like the beak is telling you that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because the beak is smaller.
Yep.
Shorter?
Yep. So if you look at like the beak in proportion to the head size, it's
Wait,
smaller. Yep. The hairy one, like that image, I think in that tutorial right there, that one looks like a hairy to me because the beak is bigger, but
hmm.
it is also often hard to tell.
Yeah, that's another one I'm thinking. Yeah. All right. Well, I only see one of them, so that's good. And then
Mm-hmm.
I see like a leaf moving, but nothing else happening. So this one is standing, still moving. I can't tell if it's eating. If it's
Right. It doesn't look like it's eating to me. Not in this series.
all right, and no youth identify. Sweet. Oh my
They
gosh,
look
this is
like they're from the same site. They must be in order, but
nice. Do you want me to somehow change? I don't know if that's actually changeable, but like hitting the a button to do at random. Oh, look at those eyes. It's adorable. Oh, it's super.
I don't think you can randomize it, but you could like close out of this and go back to classify, and then you'll get different images maybe.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes that's how like I skip the hard ones sometimes.
Scientists, how is skipping the answer?
They're really hard ones, and sometimes I just I need an easy one to do to keep the morale up, you know?
Oh, that's very fair. That's a good point. Yeah. If you're, oh wait, is that snow? Yeah, that looks like snow.
Mhm.
I feel like that is an important thing to note is even the scientists, the people who really care about this, the researchers, it's still hard. It's still difficult to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this one is a mouse-ish thing. It is definitely moving, might be standing and just hanging out. Would you call this eating if it's kind of looking towards the ground?
Um, yeah, I think I would. Those first few images look like it's eating.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Sweet. I agree. Ooh, do you ever see like just, I mean, with some corvids, I assume, like with crows, there might be a ton of them, 6+. But
Mhm.
they're probably pretty solitary. Is that usually what you see?
Yeah, usually yep, if it's a big group of something, it's probably crows. Um,
That's good. My intuition is correct. This is, oh gosh, is that super dark? Oh wait, we were gonna go back because that one's too hard. Unless this is what does that do? Oh no, that does not do what I thought it did. All right, so if I go back to overlap by watching and then I hit it again. Oh no, it gave me the same one. How do you? Or is that usually what you do, or is it just because I hit the wrong button? Learn more, join in. Oh, yeah, I guess I have to go through the tough ones. I could restart my page, but that might, I'm not sure if that'll work. Oh, hey, that's how you do it. Uh-oh, did my friend leave? Oopsies. Okay, well, taking a break anyway for my eyes. I'm gonna stop my screen share for a moment. For those of you who are listening into this one, oh, and I'll allow to talk for everyone else. Sweet. And our guest just got dropped from the call. I wonder if the Wi-Fi got pulled. But for everyone who's watching, so this one is shockingly nice to just kind of go through. I'm glad that I have a bird expert with me though, because I am not super great at knowing which birds are which. So that's been super helpful. But if you have any thoughts on birds, this is where I need your help. I don't have my guests with me. So I'll open the chat to make sure I can see them. But I'll share my screen again, and we have about, I'll do this for another 10 or so minutes. If you'd like to share if you're doing this too, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer in the meantime. And hopefully we'll get Grace back on here at some point. So in this one, which I think you'll be able to see, let's try that again. Okay, yes, you can. So I don't see snow, so I'm gonna hit no. And then I'll go to the next one. I did see, I think it was a mouse again. Yeah, a little mouse in the corner. I don't see anything else moving, but I'm gonna zoom in anyway, just in case. That almost looks like a snake, but I don't think it is. Huh, yeah, kind of looks like a snake. Weird. But I did find the little mouse, so I'll go ahead and do that. Mouse, mammals, mice slash voles, because they're too tiny. And this one, what's it up to? Looking around, kind of moving. It doesn't look like it's looking down anywhere, so I'm going to go with standing, moving. Only one of them, and I don't see any young. So I hit complete or done, identify, and then it goes to the next one. I'm just on a roll with these mice. Thank goodness these are showing up instead of the birds, so that Grace can help me on the next one. Still the same mouse. I do see snow. It's a mammal. I think I'm gonna get so many acts by the end of today. I'll be responsible for at least 1,000. Seems like it. This one was moving around. I don't know if it's eating though. Looks like it's maybe. Nah, just moving. Moving, standing. I don't see any youth. I identify it and I hit done. Ah, oh my gosh, I can see. So, oh, perfect
Sorry,
time.
the
Yep.
internet snapped for a minute.
I figured I only talked to myself for about 5 seconds before I realized, oh yeah, I don't hear anything coming from Grace, so I must be alone. So I found a mouse one where it's basically just the eyes.
Yeah, that's what they usually look like. It's just moving eyeballs.
Man, I mean, at least their eyes are pretty reflective. That's pretty funny. Although, there's no light coming from these camera trap images, are there? Or like from the cameras
They
themselves?
don't have a flash, no.
Oh.
Um,
So how on
yeah,
earth does
somehow the eyes glow. We would like to, we talk about the idea of doing some trapping at gut piles so we could get a better idea of which rodents are actually there. Um, because, like images like this, we can't really identify them to species. So,
Yeah. And it looks like this one is potentially going to go eat it, but if it's not actively looking like it's eating, should I skip eating?
right. I'd say not eating, definitely moving. Yeah,
Mm,
that looks good.
all the images have it in a different location. And then identify. I got really lucky. I was worried when you dropped. I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be birds and I'm going to have to wait for a minute. Or I could just get better at birds. But that's tough. Ooh, that's a pretty bird.
New one.
What are you? Let's zoom in. Is that a red back? Oh yeah, look at
Mm-hmm. Oh, but it looks like okay, it looks like there's a lot going on in this series. Can you play it one more time?
that.
So yeah, I see one that I see a blue jay there, and that looks like a different one, and then a
Oh,
woodpecker in the middle, and then a blue jay. They kind of just morph into
oh
different
my gosh, you're seeing
species.
different birds.
Yeah, I see three different species in this series.
Okay, I would not have caught that. That's a good eye. So this one, the red-headed one, is
Hmm.
definitely a specific one, which let's see. Can't see any of these images. Red-shouldered hawk?
I can
No.
give you a hint that it is a woodpecker, and this one is
Ah,
tricky because it obviously has red on its head, but it
mhm.
is not a red-headed woodpecker. Um, the naming of this one is confusing, but this one's a red-bellied woodpecker.
Red-bellied. Okay, so if it has a
Mhm.
red head, it's also possibly a red-bellied woodpecker. Is it
Correct.
also red on the inside or on the belly too? I can't even tell.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reddish hue on the belly. Um, a red-headed woodpecker, I don't think we have on our list because we've only gotten like one image of them so far. Um, they are declining in numbers quite a bit, and it was really exciting that we got one on film. But a red-headed woodpecker, it has its entire head all red. So you can see that this one just has like the back of its head in red.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it's got to be all red for
Mhm.
be a red-headed. Huh. Was there so like interesting? I mean, I guess it makes sense to have red-bellied then if there is a red-headed one. That's all
Right.
red-headed.
But
But
this one definitely has red on its head, so
it's like
it can
red.
be confusing.
Oh well. I
Okay,
mean,
so the red bellied looks I'd say it looks like it's eating to me,
yeah.
moving. Yeah.
It disappears, so it's definitely moving away at some point. And then standing perched, I can
Yeah.
probably
Sure.
ignore that, or I could drop that one because it does look like it's eating and then going away. But
No, I would say yeah, that's standing and perched is good.
okay.
So can identify that one. And then the next one, the blue jay.
Oh, okay. Blue jay. Where's blue jay? There you are. Blue jay. What else do they look like? Very nice. Oh yeah, I can see that. I only see one. The other one is not a blue jay. Let's look at that one
Nope, and
again.
then there's one more, and it's just this little head popping out.
And that's not a blue jay. It looks like it could be,
Nope,
but
I think it's a white-breasted nuthatch.
you know your birds. Dang. Okay.
Yeah,
Me.
I do have a background in birds, so that's helpful.
Definitely makes sense. All right, so this one is just standing perched. Doesn't look like it's putting its head down to eat.
Right.
Standing perched and moving. Nope. Identify. And then the last one, apologies, which one did you say?
The white-breasted nuthatch, I think, which is just under nuthatch. Yeah.
Oh, white-breasted nuthatch. Oh yeah, they look so similar. Wow. Okay. The like lines of like the blue with or like the
Mhm.
darker color looks like blue, and then the lines across the eye like a mask. They're all very similar type tones, although a lot of birds and a lot of different names. There's a lot of different species. This one, since it's below there, do you think it's eating?
I don't know. I can't say for sure, so I'd probably skip the eating category.
It's better to do the skip than to like guess, is what it sounds
I
like.
think so, yeah.
That makes sense. All right, then I got three right there. Wow, impressive.
That one was cool. Yeah, you got to watch it slowly for that to show up.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad I moved the speed down because I definitely. Oh, I thought that was a rock. Just kidding. Hello, raccoon. Or not a raccoon. What are you? Are you a raccoon? You might be. No, a fox.
I would say fox, yep.
I know
That
my.
bushy tail gives it away.
Yeah, it's a very bushy tail. Where is?
So for fox, we have either red fox or gray fox.
Hmm,
And you could take a look at both the pictures. For this series
look,
of images, I think the feet are the best field marker to use as a reference.
where are your feet, sir?
Or its legs.
Like,
Like,
oh, dark. They're super dark.
mhm.
So if I go back, cancel, and I go to red fox. Aha! Good
Yeah.
tip.
So
The
yeah, some of these are tricky because they are obviously I mean, most of them are photos taken at nighttime. Um, so if you can find like those field marks that stand out, even though it's in black and white. That's helpful.
Definitely. And this one is definitely eating. It almost looked like it was napping on the food. Napping on the food, walking, moving away. It's does it
You
look like
could
it's resting
you
to
could say
you?
standing, yeah, sure.
Okay. Is it, I mean, this one, since it's moving around a ton, I don't know if it looked like it was resting, but that's probably just eating. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Right. And then that was it for that one. I like this one. It's cool. Sweet. Okay, cool. And then what is that? What type
Yeah,
of off?
those are just the guts.
Ew. Right.
Yeah.
Nasty. This is a great image, although it doesn't look like it caught an actual.
Yeah, I don't see anything moving other than shadows.
Yeah, unless something is really good at moving around in shadows without us noticing, which would be. Yeah, I don't see anything over there. Hmm.
This
Yeah.
one, that picture is kind of unusual. That must have been during archery season because archery season is the earliest hunting season. Starts mid-September. So a lot of our images don't have like greenery in them, you know?
It's winter. Yeah. Oh yeah, 51 degrees too. That's not bad at all.
Mhm.
So if there's nothing in that one, oh, there we go. Oh, I think I'm back to one of the ones we saw before, or at least the same camera trap, I think.
Yeah, same camera.
Oh, I think it's here, whatever it is. Maybe.
Oh yeah,
What are you? Are you a little mouse again? I think it might be.
I would say mouth, yeah.
I think I've said it before, I'm saying it again. I feel pretty good about my abilities in this one. Unless it's a bird. Then I'll have to look through all of them.
That one
Okay.
I definitely can't tell what it's doing, so
Yeah, it's just
well,
facing the wrong way. This is snowy, right? I can't actually tell, actually. There are others that look like this where it looks like it's snowing, but this one I'm not
right.
sure. Looks like dirt. Mm, yeah, I think it's just leaves. Okay, so never mind, no snow. And then we see a mouse. But what are you up to? Just moving and standing. Moving, standing. No, just one. Oh yeah. All right. So it's 10 till, so I'll do like two more and then we'll close out with uh like better instructions on we'll submit this as a 1 million acts of science report and then I'll make sure that people remember how to do their connection to Zoomers and anything else. Ooh, alarm going off. And any other like words of wisdoms you have for us for doing these, especially for
Okay.
anyone who's like me, who's a very beginner birder.
Yeah. And
Okay.
what part of the country are you in?
Well, I live currently in Washington, D.C., but I'm most familiar with Arizona and Southern California.
Okay. Yeah, because that changes things too. You know, these are all Midwestern birds, so they could be unfamiliar to people in a lot of the country. So
That's true. They are cool looking. I remember seeing like what was I think they're renaming it though because the name of it is named after someone who they don't want to represent anymore. There was the Stellar's Jay is one that was in like central-ish California, and it was always
yeah,
the bird to me. It was very cool looking and
yeah,
very.
I like them. They are definitely noisy and um pretty friendly.
Oh, they are friendly? I wasn't
I
sure.
mean, well, I don't know. They're very curious, so like they'll show up and check you out, you
Mm.
know, whatever you're doing in the woods.
I think I definitely saw them most often. Like they were the ones that I didn't seem afraid to
Yeah.
hang out at a picnic table or whatever and be like, "Hi, whatever you're eating." All right, that looks like the same bird to me.
Right. I
This
agree.
that one's
There's a
different.
different one and there's another different one. So I see at least three different species in this series.
Is this the same bird as that?
I think so. Yeah.
And then this guy is that looks like it could be the one flying in, but
Yep.
it's flying in the direction, so it's surprising. And then it's just one bird. Oh my gosh. Is this what the one we saw earlier? Will I know it?
Oh, this one's different.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Moving down again, and then back to is this, wait, I'm gonna guess, is it a raven?
Um, I would guess Raven. It's hard, I would, if it was me identifying it, I would like zoom in and take a really good look. But I think because of that beak size,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Raven.
raven. And then this looks like the same bird to me, but
Mm-hmm.
if I zoom out, this is it earlier. Okay, so we've got lots of birds. Let's break it down. We've got crow or raven. We've got at least one. Do
Yep.
we want to assume it's one
I,
here again?
yeah, I think it's safe to assume it's the same individual rather than,
Okay, 1224. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not too
You can
far.
only see one at a time, so it's safest to assume that there's only one.
Okay, sounds good. So there's one raven. We've got it standing and perched. We've also, I think it's eating because of
It
the
was
snap.
eating. Yep.
And then moving around for sure. There's no young. Identify. And then our next bird was this guy.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, that one on the bottom left is the biggest woodpecker that we have on camera. They're about the same size as a crow. Um, yeah, it's the pileated woodpecker. And
wow.
they're pretty cool. They've got that big red crest on their head, and then their size just always gives them away. They're unmistakable.
Neat. They're significantly bigger than their other woodpeckers, like the
Yeah.
red-bellied and stuff.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wow. They're cool looking. I like their little caps. And this one was standing. Oop, standing, and then looks like
I
it's
think
eating.
I think it's eating. Yeah.
And then moving. Standing, eating, moving. Nope, no babies. And then that last one, which is a cool looking blue, looks like something I'm not sure of.
Just another blue jay.
Blue jay.
Yeah.
Blue jay. It's so much, I mean, maybe it's just because the picture is a lot lighter. So it's got, you can see a very lighter colored blue than in
Yep.
these examples.
Yep. They're the only like fully blue bird on our list. All the
Oh,
other blue birds in the Midwest don't hang around in the fall and winter, so we won't be seeing them at gut piles.
oh, that's too bad. We don't get birds.
And I think they're insect eaters. I'm not sure they would eat guts.
Oh, okay, that's good to know too.
Like
But that
blue birds. Yeah.
understand the difference, right? You gotta know which ones are the carnivores.
Yeah.
Particular meat eaters anyway. I feel like insects are. Would insects be counted within the carnivore list?
I don't know. Insectivore, aren't they on their own category?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know why it seems like it's gosh, I never think of the word insectivores. So I'm like, do they ever get
Mhm.
lumped in or no?
Yeah,
Uh
no.
yeah. Okay, so blue jay. I thought it was eating because of this one, but it's also
Right.
just
Yeah.
it's so close to it that I feel like it counts. And then nope, no young. And then we got all three. Done. All right, and then let me check the time. Okay, I'll go ahead and close this out then. Oh, but I'm so tempted to hit the button. See, once you get started, it's like, oh, it keeps going. I have to keep hitting the
I
buttons.
know.
Any words of wisdom you want to give to anyone who's doing this project moving forward, either those who are here with us now or things I can tell people later, etc.
Um, I don't know. I think the best way to do it is just to look for help as you need it. So just give it a go. A lot of the animals are pretty common, like we see coyotes and raccoons, which are pretty easily identifiable, and then crows and ravens. So yeah, if we put some good ID guides for the tricky ones on the talk boards. And then also I really like Zooniverse that you can ask other participants for help too. So if there's a really tricky one, put it in our notes section and then other people can weigh in on what they think too.
Yeah, do you get pretty active? It looks like you have pretty active discussions, like 30 people all talking through the same conversation or
Yeah, I check them a lot. I think it's really fun to interact with our participants that way. And it lets me see a lot more images than I would ever just see if I'm doing it individually. So I really like the feature that you can put the little heart on images or put them in collections because then we can go in and find, what other images people are thinking are cool. We have over like 300,000 images from all this project. So there's no way that our small team would be able to look through all of them. So that's a really neat way that we can find the cool ones if other people tag them.
Yeah, that is super. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about how it's helpful for this just to for the researchers to actually see it in that kind of format of like which ones are the exciting ones that
Yeah. Mhm.
a lot
Yeah,
in
and that's like the main way that I have discovered the new species that we've added to our list is that people make a note that it's remarkable and it needs to be put on the list. And like since I started, I've been with the project about a year now, and we've added 9 new species. And even in year 6 of data collection, that's really exciting that new things are showing up. So,
Wow. That is pretty exciting. I hope there's more to be added then if we find more ones. You haven't ever seen a species that you can't identify, right? Like some of these are not like new species, they're just species.
no, there are definitely photos that I can't identify. Like you get like one shot of fur moving past or just like a big eye. But no, I don't think we'll be discovering any new species.
Bummer. If so, because I'm very clearly still a rube at the whole finding which type of birds there are, would you, I'm going back in it right now actually to see if I can find it. So if I were to click on birds, would I be able to like how often or how much of an issue is it if you hit unknown, for example? Like unknown for I'm not sure what this bird is. Do you expect that more than you expect someone to guess what species or which
I think it would probably be better to guess.
okay.
Because like I said, we have 10 people looking at it and then we go with the consensus. And we did recently pull out a lot of the pictures that didn't have a consensus or were like 50-50, split down the middle, and we put those back on Zooniverse. So we let
It's
people give another look and see if we could get a consensus again. That batch was really tricky to go through. That's when I needed to take a break and get a new one.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, we could do that too if there are lots of unknowns or lots that are split between two things, if there's not a consensus on it.
definitely. Well, I'm glad that there is more or that there is checking on that one, especially just as a again, birding, not my
Yeah. Yeah.
my best thing ever, right? And so it is definitely helpful. Awesome. Okay, so for everyone who's here, I think there were a couple people who filtered out, so I'm gonna make a guess because we always had, I know a couple people filtered out. So when I share my screen again, I'm just gonna show you the recording process and also, Grace, if this applies to anything you do within the month of April too, you should do the same. So if you
Okay.
do any activities here or with the project in person or et cetera, or like even talking to people who set up the cameras. I know it's the wrong season for that, but in general, when those things happen, you are more than welcome to add them as a reporting them as acts.
Mhm.
Outside of April, it will be just like a part of a project, so it doesn't really need it for there. But my name, my email, I will label myself as Emma G. My organization is SciStarter. And then we did our number, oh gosh, we're on number 7. Hour number 7 of the 12-hour Palooza. And then estimated number X depends on the people. I think I saw 7 come through. So right now we have a different group, but I had 7 of you throughout across the total of it. And then we'll write in the project. It's and I'm so glad to know what on earth awful means.
Yep. Mhm.
Very convenient word in terms of like looking at that kind of stuff.
It is funny that I've been using the hashtag of awful on our social media. And if you check that out, it is mostly food. So I know like a lot of different cultures and other countries do eat a lot of these organs that we leave behind. But it's
Mhm.
just funny. It's a little interesting to go to the awful hashtag.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about like where I don't even consider that to be like a common word in my vocabulary, right? So
Yeah,
that
right.
it is actually common enough to be a hashtag. That's amazing. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Oh, and we're up. I don't remember what it was earlier actually, but before when we first started today, it was at 5:29. So we're already
Wow,
doing a lot.
pretty cool.
Not just me and these projects, of course. I think there's a lot of other people working on other things in order for that to happen. Okay. Cool. Well, in that case, then my next guest, I think, will be arriving at some point. I think she's going to join us. But you are free to go unless you want to keep working on these things with us. Thank you so much for being here, Grace, and for explaining all of this to me. To
Yeah,
me, very, very
thanks
helpful.
very much for featuring us. This was fun. I hope we can do it again. So
Absolutely. We
keep us
do
posted for next year.
definitely. And beyond April too, we do a SciStarter Live project, so maybe we'll bring you back in there
Okay.
for that, which would be
Yeah,
helpful.
I'd be happy to.
Cool.
All
Okay.
right.
I'll see you
Well,
next time.
thank you. See ya.